Let me tell you a tale of heroes unsung who will never fail. On this road of life, they stand so proud. Every day Saturday, let's shout it loud.
What's going on, friends and family? Welcome back to another amazing episode with Bryan and Marie on some Coffee Talk, Healing Out Loud. We are back to doing interviews again, and super excited to have our next guest and get to meet him. But how are you doing, Marie?
I'm doing okay. I'm exhausted, and I'm okay. I'm glad to be back. Life is still lifing and hitting hard. My husband's got some medical stuff that has come up, and so it's going to be a journey, you know. And I've got all my medical stuff and whatnot, and I'm moving forward. I'm hopefully going to get some answers today. Going to see a rheumatologist, so that'll be fun. And we'll kind of see what happens. So I'm a little overwhelmed with emotions and haven't been sleeping well. And I'm still moving forward and hopeful and having faith. And, I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm glad you're here. I'm doing all right myself. Just taking day by day and trying to still settle into the new place. But everything, is like you said, you just got to keep the faith sometimes, and sometimes things get rough, get a little hard, and we just got to, like you said, keep the faith, use the tools that you got, and you'll get through it all, and you got people out there like me rooting you on, and praying for you and your endeavors and your life. But I'm super excited to have our next guest on today, and super excited for this show. And we are going to be changing up the intro. The one you just heard was a little like a little try at it. And as I was listening to this time, I feel like I was almost like worshiping, at the end there. But I'm excited for you guys to hear the new ones that we did. Now, Marie did a poem for us, and she read it on the last episode. So if you guys haven't heard that, go back and listen to our first one back. I'm going to let you guys listen to a little snippet of this. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Let me know if you can hear it, Marie. I love it. I love it. This brings me back to kind of like my 90s high school days. You know what I mean? And I didn't even ask it to do that. It just literally, I just asked it to be like happy and energetic. So this is what it spit out. There's like
90s music is my favorite, so it could not be more fitting.
No, for reals, absolutely. And I used to listen to this kind of stuff, so I thought it was great. I was like, "What? No way!" All right, so here we go. Let's see. We struggle to fit. Start to never let feelings win. Lost in a world full of fear and pain. We hung our heads in shame. When we look up, we see hands reaching out. There is so much support. It comes from above and underground.
We can hear it a little bit, but not much. And now I can't hear it hardly at all.
All right, damn it!
But I heard a little bit, and that sounded awesome.
Yeah, it's a really I love it. I'm super excited for it. So I just got to kind of throw some stuff into it to bring it to life a little bit, so we have it as our intro. But that's all due to Marie right there, and they turned her song into life, and I love it. And it's something cool to look forward to. But let's go ahead and get ready to hear another great poem from Marie. Before we do, we're going to wrap up some veterans out there real quick. One veteran out there that is an author. You know, we have a lot of great talent in our community. Veterans, we got authors, musicians, comedians, actors, you name it. There's someone out there. This gentleman out here, his name is William Stevens. He is a retired Army. He wrote The Broken Mirror. It has a lot to do about transition, getting out. It talks a lot about his stories, his experiences, and this is very relatable to a lot of veterans out there. But once again, and he's also got the award for the Eric Hoffer Award. And several other awards as well. So the author, once again, is William Stevens, retired Army, and this is called The Broken Mirror. So if you are a reader, you go out there and get yourself one today. Get yourself a copy. I know he's out there working on more stuff as well. I got to be honest. One thing I'm not very good at is reading. I'm not a reader. So a lot of these authors, I feel bad. They want to send me their books and stuff like that. And I just got to be honest, I'm not much of a reader, but what I will do is I will rep their stuff and show them, since they're out there working hard, and someone out there who loves to read could totally benefit from these stories from our authors. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and play a quick one for a Navy veteran, and then we'll bring on Marie, and she's going to do her poem. So let's go ahead and get this ready to go. And all right.
If you're ready for big things, you want big flavor, all right, you need to grab yourself a bottle of this Big Smoke AP sauce. It goes down on everything.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share another one of my poems. So today's guest really talks a lot about overcoming some of the darkness that we get stuck in as veterans, or just as people in general, with our traumas and our experiences and stuff. And so I wanted to share this poem that I actually just wrote last week that I feel will be a little bit appropriate, and it's called The Weight of Darkness. Darkness pulls me down like a ton of bricks. It fills up my brain with the weight of mind tricks. It blinds my eyes to what is around, increases past pain. I then feel bound. Weighed down in the dark, I can't explore. Stuck in a rut, I stop looking for more. Insecurity drowns me in guilt and shame. I then focus on others to shift the blame. Sometimes I spiral, resigned to be lost, not really caring how much that will cost. At some point, I start to doubt my doubts. A little voice inside quietly shouts, the weight of darkness can be worthwhile as long as I don't sit in denial. I can make a choice to prove humility. Pulled down, it can be. As low as I go, I can always reach up. For Christ's sake, lower, drink the bitter cup. When I join in his yoke, it makes me feel light, like an air balloon in mid-flight. It clears my mind, setting me free, opens my eyes to possibility. When things don't go the way that I want, and negativity becomes my confidant, I know I am tempted to lay down and quit, which the weight of darkness will gladly permit. Yet, I would rather reach up my faith to renew. When I'm surrounded by light, I see what is true. Mistakes that I've made and hurts from my past don't have to freeze me or make a cast. I can keep moving forward, accepting love, especially from God above. I seek to help others in finding the light. Watch as their hearts start taking flight. The weight of darkness heavy no more. A new reality together we gladly explore.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job. And as always, your poems are always fitting for the show. So it's great. All right. You want to go ahead and introduce our next guest and bring him on? We'll go.
So I am super excited to have Travis here. I reached out to him because I have been watching him over the last couple of years. Travis, I'm going to read his bio to you, but I just wanted to tell you. So the way that I was introduced to Travis is just on Facebook. I got like an ad for, not an ad, or just like a preview of some of the stuff that he does. Travis is the creator of a comic called Stick Vet. And I'm going to let him explain a little bit more about it. But, oh, I'm going to cry.
We didn't even get to our guest yet.
I know. But when I started first seeing his comics, I just felt seen. He breaks down everything kind of Barney style into the traumas that we've been through, what it does to us, and then the demons that we have attached to us because of our traumas. And it is so beautiful.
Genius.
It is so real. And it is just so fantastic. And it is so raw and emotional. But it just makes you feel seen. And not just for veterans, but just anybody who has ever dealt with trauma, you know? And it's just so wonderful. And I just love, like I said, he's going to explain it, but he explains how like we join into the military and we like are full of all of this stuff and we're just like a regular person, right? But then the military kind of strips us to our base and we become a stick type thing. And anyways, it's just really awesome the way that he explains it. And but one of the things that he also does is he just wrote a book. He also does what's it called? A community on Discord, and I'll let him kind of talk about it. But without further ado, let me read his thing, and then we will get him on here because I can't do justice of the stuff that he's doing, and he's just an awesome guy. So Travis Landchild is the author of Stick Vet Comics, a comic strip about veteran life in the civilian sector. The comics are a way of communicating through humor by describing the challenges veterans face after serving in the military. These comics depict vets and the demons they carry, telling a deep story of spiritual conflict with sarcasm and dark humor. Woo! I am emotional. He also wrote a book From Warrior to Veteran, where he writes about his path of cleansing after returning from war and leaving military service, breaking down the deep complexities of healing and growth into the associated belief structures and the tangible exercises involved in each step of the path from warrior to veteran. Travis is a combat veteran who served as a mental health specialist in the Army. His mission was maintain the mental stability of thousands of soldiers. His war was different as a combat counselor, and his mission continues to this day, not only through his comics, which tell the veteran story after decades of listening, but you can find him in his veteran community called Stick Nation on Discord. A couple times a week, he hosts Not a Counseling Groups, a gathering of stick-minded people who are climbing this mountain of growth, healing, and cleansing together. So, Travis, come on up. I love what you're doing, and I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Wow, you are an amazing guest for our first guest back. You know what I mean? I don't know Travis, and I didn't get, I haven't had the luxury of learning about Stick Vet, but I am so ready and excited, bro. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Bryan and Marie, man. We're glad you're out here, dude. You sound like the perfect fit for this segment of the show. And so we're excited to have you on and get to see some of these stick vets too, bro. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So let us know, man. let us know all about you, bro. You know, kind of give us a little bit of a background where you grew up. You know, what was your childhood like? What made you decide you wanted to join? Give us a brief overview of your, your experience while you were serving, and then what transition looked like for you, bro. The good, the bad, and the ugly, man. Let's get through it.
So I thank you again. I really appreciate it. That's a warm welcome, and you gave away the emotional gut punch. I try to trick people and let them think I'm a comic.
Yeah, with Marie, man, you had her already going before we even got to you, bro. I was like, sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's going to be a good one.
It is. Yeah, that's how the comics are. Some of them are funny. So I was a 9/11 vet. Day after 9/11 is when I joined. And
wow,
that was
okay.
I'm one of those. And
GWAT.
came in with that wave of people, but even when I was joining, it was one of those like, I knew a recruiter, but he gave up on me so much that he got me a job at a cafe. That's how much he was not getting me in the military. He got me stable. And
hey, man, I go to this cafe though. You can
he got coffee. Yes, there was also that. But so that's how much I wasn't gonna join. And so I called him up and I was like, you got to get me in as something for me. And he's like, okay, we can do this. You better score good. And I did. And so I joined as a mental health specialist because I knew my own nature well enough to know I wasn't going to go become a soldier, a straight warrior of any kind. And that I could go there and I could help them. That was my idea. Kind of like a medic, but I don't like blood, so
I was a medic.
And I had to get over that. But so then I joined. I go through the whole gauntlet of mental health training, which is
before you go into that.
Knowledge.
Why did you not? Why did you not want to join, or why did he not want to? Like, what was going on with that? Can you give us a little snapshot of that?
My last name is Landchild. I didn't wear shoes for 3 years, kind of a hippie. Do I really have to go into details? I was on a farm. I grew up on a, yeah.
You didn't fit the mold, I guess. There's
No, I knew I was always the friends with everybody, friends with no one. Everybody could tell me anything, but no one hung out with me. My entire graduating class thinks of me as a friend, but they don't actually call unless they're in crisis. That's been my life. That's just kind of how I already knew it then. It's how it is now. It's just, that's life. And so I knew my nature well enough, enough to know what not to do, as patriotic as I was in that moment. I wasn't going to be an idiot. And not to insult my brothers, but they're dumb. And so I scored better than them. And so therefore picked a better job. It was between chaplain's assistant and mental health. And then I was at my first crossroads of my life.
Now, when you were going to join and stuff like that, and you ended up joining, now was a lot of people like that was surprised that you joined? Like no one would have saw that coming, or did you always feel that you were kind of, had military in your mind?
Oh, no. My family was not only surprised, a chunk of them were mad.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And upon returning,
didn't have very good support sometimes from some of your family members.
They were going from they were the ones symbolically spitting on the Vietnam veterans when they came home. Right.
Right. Gotcha.
Not
okay.
literally, but
sure.
In that crowd, right?
Yeah.
And so to go from that to I have to be a supportive aunt, uncle, sibling to my family member that's joining was when some of them didn't even transition through that. Some of them did it badly. Some of them attempted and did it okay. And I mean 10% of them did. And so it was a lot of rejection from my blood family, and both before and after. And there were a few that tried and still try. And, I have like one aunt that kind of is able to be respectful. Really, that's it. Like a baseline of respect. That's so hard, you know. But
Wow.
from
Yeah.
where they're from, of that
Sure.
mentality, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
So
Mindset.
yeah, there was that, but I also didn't know about that till I got back. Really, you know, I'm off on my own other unbecoming of myself and becoming a warrior of my own capacity. You know, I as a mental health specialist, I still did combat counseling. I saw 2,800 guys downrange and in a bunker because the psychologist got the office and I'm a specialist. So I got the bunker that I turned into a freaking my own like little counseling smoke. It was like there were 3 smoke pits and I claimed one. That's mine now. And turned it into, I put Christmas lights in there.
You man caved it a little bit, huh?
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. I was getting decorations sent to me all the time. And I had access to, because then I had to go do critical event debriefs. Every single KIA, I would go out there for 3 days, me and one of the other guys. And during that time, I'd also bring, the boxes churches send and stuff and do the same thing to their smoke pit. And I basically did smoke break therapy was how I did it. I would take a pack of cigarettes and go out there until I was done with the pack. And people would come out, smoke with me, leave. I'm hanging out there all day. They
Just a
figure it out.
social thing, huh?
And so one of them breaks off later and comes and talks to me. And if anyone shows up, we're just smoking. We're just smoking.
Yeah.
No one went to go see the wizard, right? I made it to where they could act like they were just smoking and not actually doing it. You know, they could pretend they didn't go talk to a counselor.
After a certain amount of time, I could just see with a Gandalf like pipe just sitting there puffing it at him.
Yeah.
Now, talk about it.
I also had candy. No shit. It was the welfare boxes, and so I would hand those out. I'd
little jar full of
some stuff, and so yeah, I would totally be like, they'd be like, "What's with the ammo can?" I'm like, "Oh, that's chocolate. Go for it." Oh no shit, you know. But you know, you got to entice.
So you made yourself approachable.
Well, they're warriors.
Yeah.
The last thing they're gonna do is talk to me. And so I'd have to go out and do like a patrol.
There's just like you kind of did it in a way that you were having a conversation with them, right? You did it in a way that made them feel comfortable without letting it be known that you're kind of psych checking them. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you got to do it in a subtle way,
yeah,
right? And that way you can get down to some of these into what they're feeling, because a lot of us were shut off, right, and taught to just be, tough and suck it up and push it down and all that stuff. So I imagine you had to do it in such a way that was more of a conversation, like kind of. That's why podcasting is kind of nice too, right? And I think there's a lot of people out here that share more than they typically would because they're just in a conversation with like folks, and it kind of just brings it out, right? So I like that approach, bro. I mean, I think another thing is you're not kind of like intimidating them or interrogating them, which we all kind of hate to be interrogated, right? Like, so that's a great approach.
So during that time, my mission really started. And I was learning it. I worked inpatient psych. I was doing counseling. But then in the war zone, it was like, oh, maybe I should have gone chaplain. Because I realized all the psychological treatments. So, hot take, war is not a psychological phenomenon that results in a psychological disorder. It's a little bit more encompassing than that. And so I was helping them make a good first impression with the demons they just acquired today.
Wow.
Blood still on their boots. That's what I did. Try to help them establish dominance from the beginning and acknowledge that this is the new struggle.
You didn't say just get over it. You said, hey, welcome to a new section of your life. Let me give you some tools.
Yeah.
And not only that, but what, I got to imagine that there's no level of training for that, what you're getting ready to do, right? And how you're going to, there's no level of training because every single one of us is wired differently, right? So for you to find a way to connect with these motherfuckers is outstanding, bro. And just absolutely genius. And then you came home and then you turned it into a visual, and stuff like that. So it's just amazing, bro. And then you were able to, at your age, at a young age, to already know psychologically what these dudes were going to face before they even faced it. You're like, you already knew in your head, like, oh God,
And I also got the other side. So I get out, I go and I work at the vet center. I actually did the thing that's impossible. I was a specialist. The only reason I got to do that work is because I was early into the war. I didn't replace anyone when I got there. We were the first mental health. In fact, we got upgraded to division mental health because there wasn't any in the whole division. We were brigade mental health before that. So it was kind of this weird, like, oh, okay, hit the ground running. And then.
Yep. Little pause.
I'm so sorry. I have a thunderstorm going through.
You're all good.
It gets me from time to time.
We just don't want to miss anything.
No, I see it. It pings, and I see like, oh God, because it's my whole modem dropping and then coming back on. It's my dog's even in the other room, scared from the thunder right now. So I start working at the vet center, and my first 35 patients were Vietnam veterans, and I was the first person that they talked to after 55 years. And scariest story I was ever told was at the end of 33 conversations when I said, okay, so of all the things you just described, of all the things that are still going on because all you've been doing is acting like it's fine, but it ain't. And of all that, what do you want to work on? I just want the nightmares to end. 33 answers in a row before a different answer. And I was having nightmares, like a lot. And I was like, oh, it doesn't fade with time. Some of them reported like massive gaps of time, like I didn't have nightmares after Vietnam and not for 20 years. And then bam, it hit me. And so I was like, oh, so like it is not a normal like wave pattern or path. It can be intermittent. It can hit you later in life. You can have gaps of nothing. And then all of a sudden it's like you just got back. And most of those guys were like they just got back.
Now, Travis, do you consider yourself like an empath? Do you feel like you take on a lot what you feel and stuff like that? I mean, have you had to learn how to mitigate through that since you are very heavily into the mental health and you've dealt with a lot of different inside brain, bro? I mean, for you to have to filter through that, right? There's a little PTSD that comes probably from that side. I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand how the impact can be from hearing a whole bunch of different traumas. And then sometimes if you're an empath type of human being and you kind of take on the feelings of others, I mean, that could be a very heavy day for you.
Yeah.
Walking away from that.
Yeah, that was. So I don't talk about the empathic stuff because I'm usually talking to a veteran crowd. I'm not sure how your audience is on the woo-woo, hippy-dippy empathy language, but
dude, I talk about God and we talk about spirituality. We talk about empathy. We talk about everything.
You talk about what you want to talk about. That's what we do, bro. So
yeah, we don't give a shit. Like if people don't want to watch it, they don't have to watch it.
They have the ability to
comes up. We talk about what comes up.
We talk about next real.
One. We talk about our own beliefs. So yes.
That was my healing. No, yep. It's always been my main flex is that I don't need you to describe your emotions. I feel them.
Yep.
I don't get to turn that off.
Right.
I feel things from people walking by me.
I wanted to ask based on that. Okay, so I know you haven't shown any of your comics yet, but I know we're gonna get there. Okay, but in your comics, you have this way, and I love it because you go into you focus on comparisons, right? You take everybody's journey and you take what we all have similar and turn it into this demon type thing or ghost or whatever it is, you know, and you show that that is something that is coming after us, right? And that attaches itself to us. Have you done one on empathy? Because I think that would be a great one to do because empathy itself is not bad. But if you are an empath that has trauma, there is like a little something that attaches to the empathy and you become hyper focused on the negative instead of what empathy is supposed to be.
His rucksack could be full. He could be carrying a whole bunch of different traumas in the rucksack. You know what I mean? Almost like because you're just carrying it on.
Because empathy in itself, empathy in and of itself is the ability to feel other people's emotions, right? Be in their shoes, the good and the bad. But
and you're still walking.
Yes, but our trauma makes it so that our radio station is constantly turned to the negative. So I wonder if that would be something that you could do, or if you've already done something like that, to have a version of empathy that has been hyper focused and turns into more trauma. I don't know if that makes sense, because empathy itself is amazing and it's great. But yeah, I like that idea of like a rucksack where you're just holding on to other people's stuff and then you're stuck on the negative.
But he's still humping. You know what I mean? The thing about it is his rucksack is full of different things, but he's still humping up the hill, you know, and he still's got to keep carrying on. Right. You know what I mean? And that's part of the thing. That's the hardest part is, at any given time, bro, he could hear a horrible story that, you know, puts him down for a little bit, but he's got the ability. I mean, he's got to, you know, keep on trucking. You know what I mean?
Don't get it wrong. It broke me repeatedly. We were on a 3-man team and we called ourselves the broken tripod because one of us would mentally snap.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. And then the other two would help buoy you.
Well, because and then you're like, well, now it's his turn. You know what I mean? So let's get him through it.
You got to realize it was also every single case that hit court-martial.
Yeah,
you have to do a mental status exam to determine if they're mentally unstable and can plead crazy or not, and you have to do that beforehand for the victim and the predator. So somebody had to do an MSE for rapists.
Gosh,
and we had to draw straws. We broke all the time on all kinds of shit.
So is that one of the things that you have incorporated it into your comics? Because I haven't read all of your comics. I've read some of them. So
here's the other thing to kind of relate to what you were saying about empathy. My comics are not about me.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I feel like that would be too much on him,
right?
To show the empath side. That's what I was gonna say.
Can you do that for me then? Like, can you do one for me with an empathy guy, because that's what happened to me is I became a caretaker from my early years, and so empathy for me was always like, oh, this is a great thing, and I didn't realize how much was actually attached to it, how much it actually threw me down, and I got stuck in caretaker mentality and compassion burnout. And that's happened to me multiple times. So if you can't do one for yourself, maybe you can.
So what I'm saying is, like,
is there empath therapy out there for people that have is there empathy type of therapies?
Okay, there's counselor types that are in the understanding of and can guide through people with extreme empathy. Okay, so like I was a counselor, right? We don't see counselors. There's counselors for counselors.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that. We've heard that a couple times on the show, I believe.
Yeah, so I saw one of them. She awakened me into a lot of my understanding now about my empathy, because I was, okay, to summarize, I had absorbed the nightmares of those that I sat with.
So you started having their nightmares for them.
I had other people's dreams. And
gosh.
And so like she helped me guide through. The guy she saw before me was an exorcist. He was a Catholic priest exorcist, and he had issues. And I'm like, she knows what she's doing. So I was like, okay, everything. I was so like, okay, I need to learn everything I can and figure this out. And she was worried about me a lot. And so I had to do work. I realized I had to, one, stop counseling. And so I did, which that was another break. And when I did, I then went through my series of loss, divorce, house, business.
Gosh, everything just started feeling like you were failing at everything at this moment in time.
Yep. All in 1 year. And so
all in 1 year?
Yep.
How long had you been out of the military? Just a quick question.
At that point, some years, like 4 or 5, something out.
Just when you're starting to like feel comfortable in your new life. And
And I had got a job that I don't have the qualifications for, bought a house, got married, had kids. Dun, 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 dun. You know, like, so it wasn't just that. And then my identification of self as a counselor, you know, like gone. And so like there was some other personal course. And then like the last one was all my possessions stolen. Minimalist lifestyle. I guess I'm doing that now. And so
you were humbled like a mug, dude.
So I go through that, and because in that my time with my children was taken away and being weaponized. So
how many kids?
2. I get them every weekend right now. Things have changed. But in that period of time, I then had this crossroads in my life where I could wallow in self-pity to death in a bottle, or full all out on my healing, like I've challenged to do when I was like, dude, you need to go to a monastery. You can't just kind of do this work. You need to get, I don't care what, I don't care. What's your anything, something huge. And I needed to do that. And so I devoted myself to a path of minimalism and frugality and started doing, and then literally went out into the Cascade Mountains, went off the grid, left Stick Vet. Stick Vet got to 40,000 followers. And I'm like, I gotta go. Walked away. When I came back, Stick Vet had more than 50,000 followers a decade later. So the work didn't die like it should have with any other page.
Wow.
Because what you started meant something.
And so, but I did my work. And then I found Native Americans out there in the mountains, and they put me to task. And I would like real go up to the top of the mountain and learn this lesson from the wind. A week later, I come back and I talk about the lessons I've learned, and they go, that's all really good work. I'm proud of you, but that's not that's not what the wind teaches you. Go back. There's a specific lesson. Yeah. Listen harder. Get good. So I really pushed I did all this stuff, and I found the Warrior's Reflection, which is this Nez Perce description of the path of the warrior. And it beats anything I've ever found as far as like the path that is before us. And so I straight up like devoted myself to that and created mantra sets. These repeated, my meditation was my key tool. And so I would go to like the top of a mountain, and I would create this mantra and repeat it. I'd bring them back to my guides and talk about them, flesh them out, and then keep going with them. And that's the core of my book, is going through every single step of this journey and figuring out what is that actual belief structure that is ingrained into me that's causing this, and how do I unravel that so that I can grab onto anything else, and down to the tangible step-by-step how to do it. And that's From Warrior to Veteran, the book that I published last summer, that I started writing a year ago now. And in a YouTube series. It's a YouTube series that I have on there for the people who don't read. and then the book.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I think you'll really appreciate if you get a chance, watch the episode right before this one.
We talk about
on Monday, that our big focus was kind of like challenging old beliefs and stuff like that, because I just went to this PTSD program in January. It was a 30-day complex PTSD program for veterans and active duty. And in there, we talk a lot about those beliefs that we have and challenging those beliefs. And so we just had a conversation. Bryan's been going through his own journey of challenging some of his old beliefs and his old reactions and stuff like that. So I love that that's what your book is about. And like, maybe we could do a trade. I'll send you one of my books. You can send me one of yours.
And it's very fitting too. I mean, we just talked about stepping away from things sometimes. Like you just said, you had to step away from stick vet, and that was probably necessary, bro. I mean, it was probably hard to walk away from your 40,000. You built this up, but it was something that you needed for yourself, bro. And sometimes that's the problem is we invest into so many things other than ourselves, right? We invest into other people, work, family, all these other things, and then we forget about ourselves at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're facing ourselves in the mirror. We got to remember that person right there in front of us too, right? And so, I think it's important that you got to be a selfless person, and it's not selfish to step away and go get yourself fixed. And like Marie said, shit will still go on, and so did Stick Vet. As a matter of fact, it still grew. And did it grow at the rate it was growing when you were around? No, but it still was able to keep going, bro, without you in there. So there was people in there that cared enough about that community and said, hey, you know what? We'll keep carrying the torch. Let him go get the help he needs. His tribe will still be here.
So one of the things that I said on our last episode is, if the life that you're living and the relationships you're in are too fragile for you to take a break from, if they're going to fall apart if you step back, then that's probably not the life that you want to be. If it depends on your mental health, if your life depends on your mental health crumbling so that it doesn't crumble, then that is not the life you need. And so the reality is, by you stepping back, you realize that this thing that you have, it didn't crumble, and it depended on power greater than you to keep going. And that's the life that you want to have, you want to be a part of. And so you took a step back, took care of yourself, and then we're able to get back in there. And what Bryan,
not only was he able to get back in there, not only was he able to get back in there, but he brings something back with him. He has all this. Now he brings it to life. A lot of his experiences are now brought to life. Now people can visually see, because sometimes you can tell someone a story over and over, but until sometimes they see the visual of it, they don't understand it, because some of us are visual learners and stuff like that. So I could appreciate that part.
On that note, we should get into some of the comics and show them what we're talking about a little bit.
I just wanted to say this last thing. Okay. Again, I've said this on multiple of our shows, and I will scream it on the rooftop. Okay. There is a difference between being selfish and being self-centered. Self-centered means I am the only one that matters. Okay. And I'm only focused on myself. Selfish is I matter first. I have to take care of myself in order for me to keep going. So if anybody who's listening to this is kind of stuck in that mentality, well, I can't take care of myself, I can't walk away, I can't step away, that's so selfish. It is selfish. Awesome. Do it. Okay. Because that whole idea that you cannot take care of someone else if you are drowning, you cannot put somebody else's oxygen off if you're not breathing. And so make sure that you are being selfish and taking care of yourself first in order for you to be able to be there for other people. Don't be self-centered where I'm the only one that matters and fuck everybody else. No, it's I have to matter first. So yes, please share with us some of your comics. Talk about what you're doing. I love your comics.
You want me to bring it up?
Fantastic.
Yep.
And
Go ahead and
All right,
bring
here
it
we
up.
go.
makes me cry, and I love it.
So these are the sticks, or at least a good chunk of them, and some of the demons at the bottom, just to kind of give you an idea of the cast currently, which is growing all the time.
Love it.
So this is a good example of how I draw the demons that we carry. This is hypervigilance. And
yeah,
following around Stick Vet as he goes just throughout life. And these are things that, as you read it, you don't see the bad in this. You know, head on a swivel, look for the exit, back to the wall, keep your eyes low, be ready. But as it has that dominance over you in that last frame, you're not the one in control. It's pulling you back into the war zone and making you react accordingly under the guise of keeping you safe.
Can you show the one that explains how you came up with Stick Vet?
Yeah. So I'll read through it, since I'm not sure if people can read this on their little screens or if they're on their phones.
Perfect.
So this is about why stick is a stick. We all start out as civilians. We're fat because we're a society of consumption. Fat because we willingly gorged ourselves on hubris and ignorance. And we're also fat and lazy. But say you join the military. As best they can, they try to strip you of that excess fat. The oath you swear is all you keep, sacrificing the life you had in order to unite it together. This is the beginnings of brotherhood. Then they mold you. Then they mold in you the virtues of a warrior. Submerged in military culture, this change in you is honed, tested, and trained some more. Rank is respected. However, real honor is forged in combat, and you long for the chance to test your mettle. And if you're lucky, your wish is granted. In war, you acquire 3 demons. The relationship you develop with these demons is a burden you carry for the rest of your life. The first is witness. This awareness opens your global perspective. You have an understanding of the gray scale of good and evil. The demon of the predator. Being prepared to destroy a person, even an enemy, requires an acceptance that we will commit evil. This relationship births guilt and anger. This leads us to question our identity and self-worth. The demon of prey, because we are also always victims. Someone's trying to kill you. Hopefully your training kicks in when you face that ultimate fear. This relationship births helplessness and shame. This leads to seek control and feel alone. Finally, your relationship with death changes. We find a complacent comfort in our intimacy with death. The fallen never leave. You'll see them every night from then on. This is how I should draw veterans. But none of this is visible. So if I take away all the parts of a veteran that you cannot see, all that remains is a stick and a hat.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Those are really good, bro. I mean, you think that this is good for a lot of people to look, not just veterans, but like family members and stuff like that as well. There's a lot that I think that people can learn, I know, like, definitely if you were a 80s baby or so, you definitely grew up with some comics. So it's definitely relatable to, the generation I grew up in and stuff like that. So I think that this is a great way for people to learn, from the veteran communities as well. And a little bit of a dive into the little bit of the psych, because like you just said, bro, like when you read that, it sounds normal to me, right? Like, it doesn't sound like, oh, that's right, crazy. They walk into a room and they got they think about that, all that stuff, like, for me, that's just a normal thought. Like, and then I know there's like, my wife doesn't even thought. She knows now, like, why I do all the things she does, but her thought is just like, what's on the menu? You know what I mean? As I'm in there, like, scanning, looking, and stuff like that, her thoughts like, oh, what am I going to eat? What am I going to drink? You know what I mean? So it's, I love the way you're illustrating this.
There's an example of just kind of what you were saying, right? My husband and I, we went on a hike for Veterans Day or for Valentine's Day, right? And like normally when people are, on a hike, they're thinking about nature and this, that, and the other. They're enjoying themselves. And we did that for a little while, right? But he's a veteran and I'm a veteran. And at one point we were walking and we had gotten separated. He was farther ahead than I was. And some guy come running through and we hadn't seen anybody in a long time. And it was just this random guy. And he goes running by. And like immediately I'm like, okay, am I close enough to my husband that if I scream, my husband will hear? Do I need to use this stick as a weapon? Automatically thinking what I need to do to protect myself or to take care of myself. And a few minutes later, I see my husband start walking back. And I was like, hey, am I crazy for thinking this? He's like, no, Maria. He's like, I was thinking the same thing. That's why, I came to turn around and make sure you were okay, And it's like it was just some guy running down the flippin' trail, but both of us are like, oh, is this danger? What's going on? And like some, not all, yes, some civilians feel this way as well, but it definitely is something that us as veterans are trained in. It's like, hey, where is danger? What is danger? Why is this one lone person out here when we didn't see anybody else for hours? What is going on? And it's
that's why I feel.
Yeah.
That's why I feel really bad for my kids. It's like, because I was driving home the other day and I was like, oh, that looked like that would be really fun. And then my head goes, well, what if their head splattered on the wall or so? Like my brain goes to like, I was like, oh, that's fun. And then all of a sudden it clicked into, well, what if this happened? And I was like, well, maybe they shouldn't do that then. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, my brain goes into that fucking wild thought. I don't know that everybody thinks like that, but I know for sure my brain goes into some weird tangent.
Well, and Travis, I'm looking at this picture that you just pulled up, and this is one of the things that I saw that I was like, man, I feel seen. I feel seen because this is stuff that I don't always talk about. You guys, I've been on here. I've told my story. I've told you guys about my mental health stuff with my PTSD and my borderline personality. But sometimes it's not just in my head. It literally feels like something outside that is talking to me. And so when I first saw his comics that showed that this is like something that is outside of me, it's not just in my head. It's something that's outside of me that has kind of attached itself to me, that is constantly trying to tear me down. Like, I love the way this is visualized. Travis, like, you see me and it's beautiful. And I love it. So yes, please explain this one that you just pulled up.
So these are the demons that we carry, at least in the current season of Stick Vet. Because as I do this, so stick in chronological order. So this year I published the book and then I got monetized in September. Stick Vet is now a business. And so I was like,
cool, bro.
I had an emergency and needed help. And I asked for help because I was told to by 3 friends. And so after a while, you just have to do it. And so I asked for help. And all the money came in like that.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I
man.
won't. This was a tough call. I won't get a new job, and I will commit to stick vet. You got me, 50 hours a week. And I created a Discord, and I spend actually more like 70 hours a week in the Discord. I'm there a lot. We just looked at the numbers. and so Stick Nation has grown. And what I do on Stick Nation is go through the Warrior's Reflection, one video at a time. And we do this work that I wrote about, and we just have kind of a watch party discussion format. I call it a not a counseling group on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the other thing I do is I sit in the video chat and I draw while random veterans come in and riff and talk and hang out and joke. And so I start, some of the demons got fleshed out because of this, because it was a lot of, oh, why don't you have, okay, I had like 5 medics join. 3 are on my team. What we need to have savior complex. Oh my gosh, we totally do.
And burn pits, man. I'm like burn pits. Wow.
Yeah, we have guys that are trying to go
Agent Orange,
get claim for exposure and stuff, and they're dealing with all kinds of gut pain, all kinds of.
Yeah, we just lost a Marine sergeant from the burn pits.
Mm-hmm. And all of these are so the sticks are all actually connected to one of the demons, even the new ones. And that's kind of what I'm doing. It's someone will come in.
Like on some of the stick figures, you do have like the demon kind of on the shoulder of the
so
stick
like
figures.
Here's someone came in. It took them a week to calm down from everything that was ramping them up on the news. And they finally, and it culminated in them getting in a fight with another veteran
over some, rather
than being brothers. Yeah. And they repented. And they have since been abstinent. They're sober from the news. Stick Nation is a news-free community. No news of the day, no politics, awesome. But no news of the day too. It's very specific, and so it's a way because we have people who are trying to be sober from that in a community, right. And like,
that's me.
Hey, let's have a sober house and help our friend who's an alcoholic who's trying to clean up. You know what I mean? It's that mentality, and that then became the greatest rule in the world for the community.
Well, especially if it's a trigger to you, bro. Like you get yourself all bent out of a meme with a picture of someone or just one stupid comment. Because I've had to learn how to really scale back and not allow the trolls to get me burnt out. But I didn't even look at it as that, bro. Like, it's an addiction kind of, and it is a way to remove yourself from it by not putting it in front of yourself. I love that. I love how you're kind of putting
in the end, as we kind of looping back to the NADA groups. My goal is to do this, and I'm going to let the viewers kind of read these. I'll slow roll through these pages as we kind of talk. But this is my first. No, this is the second story, but this is the first. The story has a full arc. Like I got a lot better. The Colonel story is where I make people cry during Christmas because the Colonel story is a very emotional story. But then I was like, we need to do this story about haunt because so many of the sticks that are coming into the nation are doing so because they're hitting their anniversary time. That's this comic here, where Stick Dog notices that Stick Vet is having an increased frequency in the same dream, the same nightmare. Well, it's probably right now when it happened, isn't it? This is an anniversary time. And this is a time when you have to finish the work you never did. And if you don't, things linger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love that you have a portrayal of the battle buddy that has been lost. I love that. You know, because I've gone through my own experiences of losing friends or as a medic, you know, and they're there still, and they're going to be there. And the anniversaries, yeah, definitely make things a lot harder, especially like for me, like I lost some people in Iraq, but I've lost more to suicide since we've been back. And, you know, their anniversaries hit me hard.
So Travis, now these, you know, when you do these, is it relate from the stories that you heard and stuff like that, and now you're putting it down, relatable to you? I mean, you know, how do you come up with these actual, what makes you decide to put one of these into a comic?
So most of it is the stories I listen to. Stick Vet is rarely about me. So like we go to alcohol quite often because, you know, in order to try and numb it out, you know, and so much that I was able to draw this comic, which is a silent comic. There's no words.
Yeah.
This is how common it is that I don't even need to say anything. And so then I get into, here's where I insert me. I'm Shrink. I was the counselor. I am in the comics, but I'm not Stick Vet. I'm this fucker.
I think you're both. I know you portray yourself as Shrink Vet, but I think that you also have a lot of aspects with Stick Vet.
A little
That's how
bit.
you can understand it.
With me and Stick Dog, yes, I've always had a service animal, and so a lot of those, that chunk of those are me. But then when I get into the deep of it, you know, this one's heavy text. Shrink tells a story that my counselor told me. When I would work late, I used to give my wife a little IOU note to make up for it later. When she died, I had to wait a month before the trip I took to mourn her. So every morning, I would write her an IOU and carry it around with me. I doubt you and your brother had some lovey-dovey thing, but maybe you'd always pair up on combative training or were spade partners. Yeah, we had a thing. This is what I did. This is my part of the story. My haunt was a little burned boy, and I was a stay-at-home dad. And my son would scream, and I'd see him. So I'd walk outside, pick up a rock. I'll talk to you later. And go back so I could be a dad. And I started using rocks. Even though it was weird. And people would be like, what's with the rock? You know, it was my own thing. Until they piled up. And I knew I had to do some work. So I went out to the ocean and put those rocks in a pile. And it was really easy at that point to just see the little boy. And there were things that I had to say. Mostly that I wish we could have traded places. And there were things I needed to listen to. And that part surprised me.
I like that last one. Again, you know, I like that because, you know, there's a lot of things that we try to, we assume that our loved ones or our battle buddies want us to do, right? You know, we assume we're like, well, this is the dreams that you had for me. This is the expectations you had for me, you know, or this was your stuff, you know, and you didn't get a chance to do it, you know. And you think about that kind of stuff. But I like that ending part where it's like, you know, the battle buddy was like, you know, don't worry about my dreams. I want you to live yours. Like, go live your life. Go find joy in your life, you know. And I like that because it's, you know, sometimes I feel stuck, you know. And so having that visual where it's like, hey, go live your dreams. Don't hold yourself back because of me. I love that. I think that's beautiful.
The question I would always get is how. And I would, you know, how? Have a moment, do a thing, talk and listen. You know, what's your thing? Light a candle? Do you use a rosary because you grew up with that and you know how? Maybe it's time to bust out that old tool and quit being all stubborn about it. Maybe it's a little, maybe you should have a little altar where you put a fragment that represents them that you can show respect for. Like a man on your mantle. And in that anniversary time, take it down, have a moment. Say what you need to say and listen and pray. That's the last part I have to add.
So do you think Stick Vet has been instrumental in your healing as well? Like, is it a way for you to heal by putting it out? Like, you know, is this kind of your way of taking your empath and putting it out there, like trying to get rid of it, or I mean, how is this you releasing it from your soul in a way, kind of putting it on this paper, or is it more of just journaling it? You know, how would you put this in terms of the longevity of it and like what it could be for others? You know what I mean?
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I do have to say that part. Damn it. Yeah. Okay. No, it's a mission. Okay. There's like a little bit of cathartic, but it's mostly like helping them be able to get to the other side to because they see their story. You know, it's the feel good is that I said it right, not that I helped people. Not saying that I'm that cold, but the message is my passion.
You want it to be clear and precise.
I'm speaking truth into a void of that I'm saying an unspoken truth.
I think you're bringing factual to stigmas, right?
Yeah.
You're bringing some fact to some stigmas. There's a lot of stigma that go around being a veteran.
And I have this message that it's a hard message because it hits hard. The suicide epidemic that we are currently facing in the veteran community on a national level, that's our fault. Blame everyone. All you want. I know that demon. It's our fault. Blood's on our hands. That's kind of the message.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
That if you're a veteran and you're not in a squad, you're enabling isolation, and isolation is our enemy, and you're siding with the enemy. If you're a veteran and you are, because unity is what we fought for. We the people was written in all caps before we were done with feathers. We didn't have buttons yet. Okay. So, we have to uphold that which was fought for. And unity is first. The lie is you're going to be alone when you get out.
Mm.
And we believe that lie.
So I love that you said that. I'm going to read you just a little part of one of my other poems. Okay. I always thought, okay, there it is. One of the best, this is called Army Strong, and I won't read the whole thing, but it's that idea of I thought I was Army Strong. And then I learned, that I wasn't, because I was trying to do it on my own type thing, like if that makes sense. And so anyways, one of the best learned lessons. Okay. Hold on. My limits were only perceived by a closed-minded me. I got through my hardest days. I now can see that even though I wanted to give up pretty often, God gave me strength and my ego needed softening. One of the best learned lessons was camaraderie. We can't face this world alone. We need community. I always thought I was Army Strong, though my definition has changed. I thought it meant fighting alone, yet my thoughts have rearranged. I've learned to gain hope through humility. Asking for help from others is true resiliency. You see, the thing about my Army time that I never liked is that I had a battle buddy always by my side. I try to take this practice through my daily life, for when we lift each other, we can get through so much more strife. When I tried to fight my battles in my head alone, I got lost in darkness and couldn't see the light that shone. It took reaching out to others to find a different way. I learned how to keep those demons at bay. I had to get help to process, not just push them down. I learned how to smile and not just frown. As I continue healing, I'll keep reaching out my hand. So when the next person falls, I can lift them from the sand. One day soon, this long war of life will be done. For now, to be Army Strong, we must be an army of one.
I think, and that is a great poem for what he was just talking about. And, but I think a lot of us too, when we get out, we want to disconnect ourselves so much from the service, right? A lot of us, we want out, we want to get out, and then we get out, and then we kind of we almost run away from it, right? And then I think there's a point in time when you run so far and you're like, holy shit, hold on, wait up. And you're like, I'm out here by myself, and then you kind of start to realize, where's my tribe? Where's the guys to my left and my right? You know what I mean? And we start to to wander around. And I think, from so many different interviews that I've done with different people, a lot of people go through this whole thing where they get out, they disconnect themselves. And then all of a sudden they find themselves a couple years into it, and they find themselves gravitating back to the community that they left. And then you get back to it and you're like, I needed you motherfuckers more than I thought I did. And then we start to realize, oh shit, I kind of needed you motherfuckers way more than I was sitting here trying to act like I didn't. You know what I mean? So I love that you said what you said.
Yeah, it's the ultimate lie. Because the first thing a veteran will finally think is, well, if only I had my old squad, but they're over there and over there and over there, so I guess I'll just be alone. And it's like, no, what I mean by our honor is on the line in this is okay, so I wrote from warrior to veteran. That's the path of healing and cleansing to get there. And right now, my mentor team and I are writing from veteran to mentor, because in the military, your squad leader was to keep the squad on mission, right? And so the mission was something else. We're veterans now. Your mission is the veteran standing next to you. And the squad leader is now actually a mentor, not a squad leader. Right? The mentor, the leader of any veteran group in all of the country, no matter what your mission is, the leader has a responsibility as the mentor to sit down and go, okay, this week we're not going to just hang out and bullshit.
Right.
Stand at the base of the mountain talking about how cool it'll be when you start climbing. No, mentors keep their veterans in their group climbing. So we're doing this
I like that
first. Yeah,
I like that because there's a lot of nonprofits out there that are amazing, and they do a lot of good activities and this, that, and the other. But not a lot of them actually sit and talk about like, hey, let's have the deep conversations. It's like, hey, let's distract by doing these awesome fun things, which is great, but that's still a form of disassociation. And that's something that we've talked a lot about on this podcast is, there's negative disassociations, which is, drinking, like getting into addictions. I'm not going to say drinking because some people can drink healthy. I don't know who the fuck can. I'm 9 years sober because I can't drink healthy. Okay. But there are some people who can. All right. So I will say addiction, right? We use addictions to disassociate, or we use people or codependency or sex or whatever it is, right? We use that to disassociate. But we also use the positive things to disassociate, and we're not allowing ourselves to feel the emotions. We go out and we socialize and we hang out and we have fun and we do these activities, but we're still not allowing ourselves to feel the emotions. So I like what you're saying is that we also need to incorporate those moments of feeling the emotions, because when you don't, it turns into what happened with me, and I started dissociating when I wasn't disassociating from all of these positive things that I was doing, my recovery, my networking, whatever, my writing, these positive things I was doing. When I wasn't doing that, I still wasn't allowing myself to feel the emotions. So I started dissociating. And so then my brain would go bye-bye by itself. And that led to my trauma responses. And so I love what you're saying is you're saying here is a call to action, people. Okay, right. Awesome. Let's do this disassociation and like have these awesome experiences. And also occasionally let's address the emotions. Let's address what's actually going on. Let's make a difference. I like that. I like that a lot.
Because the reality is kind of scary. Isolation is our greatest enemy in regards to the suicide epidemic. Okay. Which means we're 3% of the population. Okay. So just everybody ponder the population of the area you're in. Okay. Based off of that, how many isolated veterans? 3%. How many veterans are in a 1 mile radius of you? And if our rate is what it is, you can't say many of us are doing well. So a lot of those are just on a path towards a cliff. They probably go grocery shopping at 1 o'clock in the morning so they don't have to deal with people. They probably don't go out their door very often at all. It's going to be very hard to reach out to our brothers and sisters that are your neighbors. And that's your squad. Not the people you deployed with, not the people you served with. The people who are stick-minded, just like you, right next to you, and you don't know who they are.
So what's really awesome about you saying that is one of the goals that I have I think I've told you before, Travis, but I do recovery advocacy and veteran advocacy. And so with that, I just kind of let people know, hey, I'm here, like talk to me. You can call me, we can talk. I can just have a conversation with you, share the tools that I've used with DBT, CPT, all of this stuff that I have utilized, or recovery lessons. I could share with you how I have stayed sober through some really hard shit, how I've overcome some of my own traumas. And if you want to get connected, I'll get you connected to the different groups that are around. I'll help you find out where to go to get your benefits, stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I do. And so what I like to do is I love when I'm out and about looking for the veterans. And I'm like, okay, I know he's a vet by the hat. I know he's a vet by the way he's walking. I know he's, and I've had some really cool conversations. I'm like, hey, random side note, dude, are you a veteran? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I am too, and having those kind of conversations. And then it's the same thing. Like I see the vehicles with the veteran, insignias and stuff like that. And so I love to just go. And that's one of the reasons why I have disabled veteran on my vehicle, so that people can see, hey, you're not alone. Right. And some people think that you do it for attention. And no, like the thing that I've learned is it's not about attention. It's about letting other veterans know, hey, you're not alone. And so I love to go and find these guys, whether they are making it known that they're veterans, or I can just pick up that they are. And I'd love to just go have these random conversations. And one of the examples was a couple days ago, I've been in this house for 2 years now. I got married and moved in about 2 years ago. And I have met most of my neighbors, but there's still neighbors that I haven't met. And the other day I was walking by and I noticed a truck a couple houses down, and it said veteran. And I was like, yes. So I went and knocked on the door and just went and started talking to this guy. And he's like, hey. I was like, hey, I'm a vet too. He's like, oh, me too. So we just started talking, and I was like, hey, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. Here's my story. And so, anyways, the point of this is I love being able to just find our random neighbors or people in town and just have a conversation and say, hey, dude, you're not alone. Like, I'm here with you. So I think if everybody took time to do that at least once a week, just keep your eyes out. You know who the veterans are. You can pick them up. I randomly was at a park with a guy with a dog and an RC car. And he was riding around, and I started walking by him, and I was like, he's a flipping veteran. I could just tell. And so I went and talked to him. I was like, hey, are you a vet? He's like, yeah. So then we had a conversation. So anyways, I love that idea of just being open to the people around you and realizing that, we are each other's squad. And another thought that I had as we were talking earlier was when we PCS, when we go to a different unit, we don't sit and say, oh, well, this unit did it this way. Oh, I missed this unit. Oh, this battle buddy here. No, we say, okay, here's our battle buddies to our left and the right now. Here is our mission now. It's not living in the past. It's now. Yeah. And we have to take that into our civilian life. Like, this is our mission now. Who's our battle buddies on our left and our right? Let's pay attention. Let's not hold on to life was so much different back then. It doesn't matter. Yes, you can be sad, you can miss your people, and the dialectic, I will yell that at the rooftop, the dialectic, I am sad because I miss these people, and this is my new mission. These are my new battle buddies. What can I do now to keep moving forward?
Yeah. So Travis, something that I think that is something that we are missing the train on a little bit is how do we become advocacies? How do we start taking what we've learned and putting it out there so others can learn from us, right? Because I think there's a fear that a lot of people don't like to talk about their healing or how they healed or anything like that, because for so long it's been a stigma, all right, about, talking about your feelings and all this, the things of the sort. So I really like that you and your team are kind of writing a book about that part, because I think a lot of us could become advocacies. And that's why the podcast this is my way of trying to give back a little bit, right? Is opening up a floor, trying to get the stories out, letting others know it's okay not to be okay. It's okay for us to talk about what we've gone through and still be a warrior. You know what I mean? And so, the more that we have books, podcasts, just people out there using their voice, we can start helping others feel comfortable to feel in that same platform. Like, hey, we need you. We need more voices out there. Mm-hmm. If we want to mitigate this problem and we want to start getting into this, we all need to start using our voices. We are considered the fucking fiercest fighting force in the world. And we can be that way just if off the battlefield, we can still be a huge fighting force, instead of tearing each other down. I see that so many times in some of this community where we got veterans deployed, not deployed, this MOS, this, and just throwing rocks at one another and stuff. And a lot of us, like the stick figure thing, bro, when you throw the rocks, no matter what, it's going to hurt the sticks, and a lot of us, we act like we're tough, but when you're sitting there getting beat down by your own community, bro, what does that do for your psyche, right? You're already at a bad place probably, and you're already you're sometimes going to this community because it's the last straw for some of us, right? Like we've kind of given up on our family, our friends, and some of us consider our family the ones that we served with or something to that such. So, when you see that group is starting to throw rocks at you, where are you going to put that person? You know what I mean? You're going to throw them so far into the depths. And that's what we're trying to do, is pull everybody out from the depths, right? And try to pull everybody out and say, hey, here's a flashlight. So I really, bro, I love when, veterans take what they've learned and put it out there, and you're making this is like a healing journey as well, right? You're and you're also bringing it to life in a way that some people have these things stuck in their head. Now you're putting it on a paper, and they're like, gosh, damn, like Marie said, when she just looks at the illustration, she starts to cry because it just resonates with her that much, so I love the way you've done this, bro. This is a unique way of doing it, and I've never seen it done before. And it's this easy thing, but like I can't draw worth the shit, but I can do some stick figures. You know what I mean? So dude, I mean, absolute kudos to you, brother, and just an amazing concept, and it's just amazing way that you're doing this, bro. And you just keep going, dog. And if you need your breaks, you take your breaks, but the community, I think, needs you, man. You know what I mean? More than you probably even know. But I'm blessed to have got to meet you, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, Travis. It's been really wonderful. Like, I have been wanting to meet the man behind the stick for a very long time. And like I said, I've just been kind of watching. Watching this, and I love it. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And I hope you know that it does matter. It does matter. If to nobody else, let me be a selfish biatch and say it matters to me, because I feel seen when I see your stuff. And I'm just so honored that you, like, it was such a long shot. You've got like 60,000 followers. I was like, oh, is this dude isn't going to reach back out. And so I was just so honored that you reached out and you're like, hey, let's do this. So just thank you, because, this shows that, as much as you're doing it, you are doing it for the little guy. Just this random person that reached out and said, hey, come be on our podcast, and you're like, yeah, let's do it. And I just appreciate what you're doing, because you really are walking the walk and talking the talk. Like you are living your own recovery by being there for the next person, and by being an example, by being a mentor and a battle buddy. And I just really appreciate you so much. And I hope you know that I just have so much respect for you.
And you know what, dude, you put a lot of effort into other people's stories and in getting their stories out there. So I'm glad you're on here, bro, because it's an opportunity for people to get to know you, bro, and a little bit more behind Stick Vet, and stuff like that. Because like you said, bro, you concentrate on others a lot, so this is your opportunity for others to kind of get to know you and what's the motive behind this and things like that. And because there's a lot of people that probably have zero idea of how this whole concept began and what it truly represents, so I know for me, you got a new follower, and I'll be definitely following you and supporting you all the way through, sharing your stuff. I know you just you're on our I just added you to Every Day's a Saturday, the page. You're more than welcome, dude, to post away there. That community is made for that, and it's to share just like what you're doing.
And also the Slider Babe community. I'm going to add you there on Facebook. So the Slider Babe community is creatively healing out loud through community. Nice. And so I want you to share some of your stuff on there as people are sharing how they are creating and supporting other people. Yeah.
And I hope you guys come on into Stick Nation and check out every Tuesday and Thursday. I do my Not a Counseling Group. Get the mug at shop.stickfed.com. And
he also does his own podcast where he does
I dropped that. I let go of the podcast. I'm just doing
you have old episodes where you tell stories.
Oh, I do.
On YouTube, I imagine. Yeah.
Yes, I have some old. I've tried a couple things. So I'm down to video. So my video content is like me talking head deep, one chunk at a time. Like the Warriors Reflection series is each chunk of aspect of this path of healing, trying to break that down. And then I have another series called The Demons that we carry. And so I go through. Right now it's just death, predator, prey, and witness. So it's one on those, and then I have another on ego and fear. And so then I'll do another. I'll go through the other demons, and then I have. So I'm trying to build a catalog of pieces, because in the NADA counseling groups, that's the training program to do online what I want people to do in real life. Connect with your squad, gather together, actually connect, actually hang out and talk, and then actually do the work as well. And then going through those motions, because we've never had to make a squad. We got placed into squads. So it is also hard to expect veterans to make a squad out of nothing. That's a lot to ask. So that's what the training program is like, here's how it runs. Here's do it in an online version first, and then start reaching out and trying to make that in your real life and everything. So go ahead.
I just had a thought. If you would like to reschedule with us, I would like to have another interview with you where you can go more in depth and maybe share a little bit of your program.
Yeah.
Kind of talk a little bit more in depth. Okay, awesome. We would love to have you on.
Absolutely.
And that would be great. You can.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And kind of like do like a slideshow or a presentation of kind of what you do in that counseling, and we can pass that along to get more people involved.
I just created because I start the group and I do it on a stage. This is what's great about the Discord, and the reason I'm using Discord is because if you want to come check it out, you just chill in the audience and listen. You don't have to say anything. You can spy on it. You're anonymous. And so we have people who are doing that for like a week or two, and then they finally come up on stage. And so here's one video. We all watch it together. It ends. Come up on stage and we talk. And you just get a few people going and talking about it. And as soon as it kind of tangents or dwindles, I go, oh, well, we're talking about this. So I have this playlist of, this is my passion. So I have hundreds and hundreds of videos and playlists that I go, oh, I know this one part where this Buddhist guy talks about forgiveness, and we're talking about forgiveness. And then next I'll be like, oh, I know this other like psychologist that talks about forgiveness. So I'll like throw a couple other vids in there as we're talking to kind of like breathe out the entirety of that subject rather than going from subject to subject. And everyone gets to have their moment of, oh, fuck, I get it now. And as soon as you have your epiphany, that's your climb. What you understand is where you're at. So climbing this path is gaining levels of understanding one step at a time. That's why this work is important. So that's every Tuesday and Thursday at 2100 Eastern in the Stake Nation Discord that I host it. Anyone can come and just chill and listen and pay attention to what we do. And I'm trying to make it to where anyone can, my mentor team that I have in the Discord. So like to be there for people if they have need someone to talk to. We have that whole setup there and as well, but they're going to start hosting it because I've created an introduction video and a conclusion video. So all the instructions are there, just mediating and moderating and putting up the videos. So that's the whole point. Anyone can do
that. That's amazing. I got to imagine, did you foresee it growing the way that it has, or is it growing on its own in a way? It starts to, you're like, all right, you started this, and then all of a sudden things started morphing in, and then it starts growing. And I mean, how is it going, or did you always have a vision of how you foreseen the first year, second year, third year, fifth year, all going out?
So I'm a big manifester. Big. I forsake a life of planning.
Yeah.
I have videos from the time that a decade ago, when I was in the mountains doing my healing on a mountaintop next to a fire. And I take my camera and I go record, and I look at the camera and I say, "Hey, Stick Nation, Stick Vet here, just giving you some fireside wisdom." And then I go into whatever epiphany I had just had and talk about it. And then I close it out. Godspeed, Stick Nation. I have videos like that from 14 years ago. I have been planning this community for a very long time. I've had the vision of it, and I've known that it's going to be a thing. I didn't know how to make it. I tried on Facebook. That doesn't work. Social media sucks. I tried on other social medias. They're connected to the social media. It doesn't work. Discord, I couldn't do it. And then I got someone to help me, because I asked for help, the thing that we never do. And so I asked for help, and I had a freaking Discord expert come in and build Stick Nation so I could have all the channels. And, I don't need to have this happen and then get inundated by bots and destroyed, So I have like an actual nerd who protects me from robots. Discord's weird. Anyway, the format works to where people can come in and they can recon it like we like to, and spy on it and then get involved, because that's what it takes for veterans to actually open up.
I love what you are doing with that. And I actually, at some point off camera, I would like to talk to you, because that is kind of what I want to do with the Slider Babe community. Yeah. Because right now I just have it little on Facebook, but I would love to do kind of what you're doing. And I will definitely be joining. I think I joined. I just haven't watched anything, or haven't connected yet, but I'm super excited to do it. And especially, Travis just told me that he's got a poetry, group, which I am super excited about, to go on there and see about connecting with other poets, and that'll be so much fun.
Yeah, we had a poet right in the beginning. Yep, I'm calling him out. We had, oh man, what's his book called though? Shoot. Iron Mike came in, and he shared with me a piece of poetry. And so I go, So I put him on stage, put the Stick Vets all snapping their fingers, and then I put his piece of poetry and posted it as a Stick Vet comic, and it got 40,000 views or something, and I showed it to him. I'm like, evidently people like your stuff. You should publish. And he then published. Wow. And then awesome. ML Wissing wrote Fragments, this book. And she's she's my lead moderator or mentor, and runs the mentor team. And so we have all these poets come in and stuff. And so every once in a while we'll have because we have the writer's block, and she gives writing prompts. And so we'll have random, we just had one where everybody was putting in haikus and doing their little 575 of a little veteran haiku and stuff. And that was fun. And so we're having fun with it. It's great. So
just like that, right? Now I imagine that when you started this off, you didn't even foresee that kind of became a thing now too, right? You know what I mean? So that's why it's amazing that this kind of thing has. It started off as an inception, bro, and it's building itself into a whole thing, bro. And literally, this is something that even if you were to back away, that there's probably others that will still stay in it. You know what I mean? Exactly. It seems like it's something that everybody is.
I don't want to walk away, but I need to at one point. I'll probably I don't know, get the opportunity in a couple of years to spend a whole season off in the mountains again or something like that. And so I'll be off the grid again. And that'll be a nice test to see that it just keeps going. I invented the social construction, the engine. But That engine is
construction, basically.
it's going. It is going, and I'm not in charge. I don't steer it. I just invented the engine, and veterans get to steer this ship wherever it goes. And so, like, yeah, we're doing a little bit of crisis intervention on a very amateur level, right? Because we are mentors, we are volunteers, we're not professional anythings. That's why it's not a counseling group, no counselors, no therapists, no one's professional here, just a bunch of amateurs trying to do it ourselves. And
now where do we envision this going? Like, where, is this something you foresee never stopping and just constantly growing, or what's your vision for this?
So Not a Counseling Group is a copyable franchise type format. It's a copyable format. Other groups will do their own Not a Counseling Group night. It's going to just kind of be a copied thing everywhere. We're doing it too. And we're going to start doing that once a month or once a week, whatever it is, and just committing to it, and then just running the format and going through that with their group. That's going to be a big thing that kind of starts happening. Stick Nation is a training program. Like, I want to do this for my group. All right, well, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do the Not a Group. I'm about to open up another slot because we have so many international veterans. I'm not even getting that, but I have to open up an early afternoon slot because we have so many Brits and Aussies that want to jump in. And so to start there, and then so it's growing. And then I do mentorship, which is tonight's mentorship training. I got to prep. So tonight is mentorship training where we go from veteran to mentor, because we have plenty of people who are like, I've done the therapy, I've done the work. Okay, I got other work to do that I'm also doing, but I'm ready to, help other people. Or flip side, so I've just been doing my work, and now I got 3 people that are using my footprints to climb their mountain, and they're asking me for stuff. I don't know what to say to them, man. I need help. And so that's where mentorship comes in, where we kind of go over like how to guide and have good boundaries and not get overwhelmed, not get burnt out, when to let go of someone who's not saving themselves. You can't cut
the rope.
All that
so
stuff.
You don't get dragged down.
Yeah, safety and all that. It's a lot of safety class kind of stuff, and so that's what Stick. And then obviously I lead by example. So the vision, 6 years from now, we build the facility, Stick Nation, the actual place, which will run like a retreat center and be like, you come there for 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, a weekend, whatever. And then there's staff. The staff basically lives there, and that's not a commune. And then because it's just staff for a program. Shush. Anyway, we so but and then it's going to be tucked up next to the wilds, as in like the actual mountains, where we can go in and do some of the deep nature work that I did and can then guide with those groups and such. And so that will be available like in different manners for veterans to come at whatever level they are. And it kind of opened to that, like, what do you need? Do you need to go for a weekend once or a couple times a year? Do you need, did you just get back and you came to the awareness of, I could use a few months somewhere. I can't do this civilian sector thing. I need help. Everyone in between, right? And that's what the center is for, is to do the real life version of Stick Nation and what we're doing right now in the digital space. And Stick Nation will still be a thing in the digital space. It'll probably be on a big, huge monitor in the facility, where it's also being, it's just going to be part of it as well. But it's, the facility is definitely part of what's going to happen. But that's, 6 years out. We got time.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. And you gonna have everybody call you father on the place?
Father. No, we could do Daddy Ben.
Yeah. They always joke, this is not a cult.
Yeah.
Not a counseling group, not a cult. But truly,
I love it.
One of the key aspects that I hold true to is we never tell people what to believe in. This is an unraveling of belief structures, not a grabbing onto. No one tells anybody what to hold on to. We'd say how to let go. Every aspect of this is how to get over yourself, how to let go, how to reprogram, but you pick your programming, because this is the actual time when you have the opportunity to live true to your nature, in line with what you're gifted at, not just what's practical.
Let go of everything you've held on to and become the stick version of yourself, of who you is kind of what it seems like you're doing.
Yeah.
I love that. Letting go of the expectations.
Now Marie's going to have a stick poem coming out.
Oh, you know it. You know it. like, you know, that's a good idea. I might do that. Yeah, no,
love it,
this is awesome. It sounds like you have dedicated a lot of time and effort into this thought process of how you want to move forward and how you want to be there for other people. And I love it because, you know, like a lot of people get pissed off when things kind of turn into a movement, right? Because they go into, oh, it's a cult. No, fuck that. No, it's a movement. What you are doing is a movement. It is, you are showing people how to live. And it doesn't sound like a cult to me. You know, it sounds like you know, just a movement, just a way to show people how to live. And I love that. And it seems like you are moving forward and making some big efforts to be there for other people and for yourself. And you're showing up for yourself, you know, and it's beautiful. I love watching this.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you, you know, doing what you're doing, man. And we need a lot more of us, you know, like people like you, people that are just willing to go out and do something, man. Your service never stopped, bro. You know, you're still, every single one of us took an oath that never expires. And part of that oath that we owe to each other is to each other, right? You know, each and every one of us took that oath.
That's kind of what I feel. I feel like I was given the veteran mission in the Army. You guys have to let go of your old mission, but my enemy was always the demons we carry from the fucking beginning. So my war was just training for my actual combat that I'm fighting now. It's been a long time, 25 years now.
That's amazing.
I have another poem that I'll have to send you at some point, and I think that you'll appreciate it. But I won't do any more poems right now. But
so what we'll do is, for one, if you guys want to go check them out, go to www.stickvet.com. That's STICKVET.com for everybody that's listening on audio only. Also, look into joining his Discord, you know, becoming part of the community. You know, a lot of us, like I said, you know, we disconnect ourselves. These are great opportunities to find yourself in communities that he's not going to pass judgment on you. They're not in there for any political reasons. They're in there for humanity. They're in there for each other, right? So I love what you're doing, man. And I love when people aren't afraid to go out and be the face for healing, you know, be one of those advocacies for healing, because the world needs it, bro. It's not just veterans. The world needs healing in itself. But you know what? We're such a small community. We could be that change. We can be the callus that this world needs for that difference, man, because we all came together from different backgrounds, different cultures, different places of living, different ways of going, but we all had a mission, the same mission together. So, you know, the more that we can keep rounding up the troops, building up our squads, so to speak, the bigger, the better, you know, and the more powerful that we can be, the more that we get in those numbers. You So let's stand up together, and everybody, man, let's stand up together. You see your brother or sister kind of falling the fuck down, grab them. Let's go. The shit doesn't stop on the battlefield, guys. We are here on the state side and home side, and we got to still be here for one another. It is our duty. We owe it to one another. We owe it to ourselves too. So, thank you, brother. Thank you so much, Travis. I really appreciate you. Please feel free to share on, wherever you can, and we'll definitely share it out as well. I know you kind of pulled up another animation real quick. We'll go ahead and kind of, if you want to run through this one real quick, we'll kind of run through one more, and then we'll kind of land the plane.
This was just what she was just talking about, was the why you wear the hat, that we wear it for each other. I don't wear, no veteran wears the hat to to be thanked. That's the consequence of wearing the hat. That's the thing you have to put up with. The whole point is to reach out so they know that there's someone else watching the door, and they can maybe drop their hypervigilance a little bit more because they have got an ally in the room. Maybe they're that fresh back. You don't need to make a squad with these strangers around you for you. You need to do it for them. Just like wearing the hat. It's the hard part of putting yourself out there. So if you're ready for that, take it on one day at a time. And all it takes is being open to the opportunity to talk to a veteran. You don't actually have to go looking for a vet. You just have to say out loud, okay, I'm open for someone to talk, and go out there. Because otherwise you're on automatic programming where you're like, so be open to someone to talk, because they might be trying to reach out.
Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. That is what it takes to heal in whatever way that you need to. And that's what it takes to be there for the next person, to be honest, to be open, and to be willing.
And sometimes
that's how it works.
And some people just require a listener. They don't necessarily need someone to tell them all the shit in the world. They already have enough shit going on. Sometimes they just need someone to hear them out. So they project that out. They get it out of in here. A lot of us just hold it on and we don't want to talk about it. It's crazy. Ask how many people, when they go and talk about a situation, gosh, damn, I feel better that I talked about that. I don't know how many people I've heard say after they've talked about something that was really hard for them to talk about, or maybe it's the first time of them ever doing it. And then they come back and they're like, man, that was really, I needed that.
It's even bigger. So, okay. So here's what I've realized, because it's taken the last few months of being in there all the time. Someone's kind of starts connecting. They get into VC and they're like, hey, meet. They kind of hang out for a couple hours every day. And like when they're doing their craft, honestly, there's some people, there's like, somebody's coin collecting, and there's somebody there's just things that we just kind of hang out. Yeah. And so someone's jamming on guitar quite often in the background. And sometimes you can hear them. But anyway, like then someone comes in and they're in their car and they're going to confront a family member about something that they've never been able to say. And they get into the chat and they don't say anything. We just hang out. They listen to us riff about whatever we're talking about. And then they kind of go, okay, I'm doing it. And we're like, huh? And they leave. We're like, oh, okay. Well, he'll be back. And then he comes back. He's like, I did it, guys. I did it. You did what, dude? What is going on? Oh, I confronted him. This and that. This has happened so many times. This is what the squad is. We trained as a squad to go into a room. I freaking go left. You go right. You go forward. So then I go to an interview and I have a hard time walking in the door, and I don't get why. But if you have a squad that you can get on the line with and just be there with you, all of a sudden you have this weird thing where the neural pathway fires and you're like, your squad's got your back, go. And you can get through the interview and they get the job. They come back with good news quite often because they were able to touch base with us beforehand. We don't even know we're doing work that they need because we don't need to do anything but be together.
That's awesome. Well, brother, we're at that time where we got to kind of wrap it up. I am just so happy that we had you on, and like Marie said, we'll have you on again for sure. I'm sure this could have been a lot longer of a show, but yeah, I really love what you're doing, man. You're doing something so unique and so necessary, you know, because a lot of us, we need some potato head style shit to kind of get it sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you kind of put it out there, they're like, oh, you know, you never know who you're making this click and connect something for them that maybe is disconnected. So, man, you keep doing what you're doing, bro. I appreciate you. Is there any last things you want to say real fast before we head out?
Just check out stickvet.com, has all my links. You can get to the Discord from there. You can find the YouTube videos from there. You can find my comics. It's all available. You can support me on Patreon or in Stick Nation. This is almost a career. This is a low-paying job. That's what it is right now. This is just but it's actually working, and I'm right at the beginning of, you know, take off with this rocket ship.
I think more of the payout is seeing the results from the people that you have in your community, man, and you get to hear all the great results from them. I bet that's the biggest payoff for it all. But once again, brother, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again. If you want to hold out real quick, you can. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again, brother.
Godspeed.
Thank you for your service. Well, all right, Marie, that was an outstanding one and a great find as usual. She's out there getting us our amazing guest. For each and every one of you guys listening out there, please like and share the show so we can get these amazing stories out to everyone. And we're back. We hit the ground running, and we are going to keep going. We're going to have interviews. We're also going to do some little one-on-ones with Marie and I, talk about some of these other issues that are going on in the veteran community and such. If you guys would like to be a part of the show, once again, you guys can go on sliderbabe.com, and you will be able to find our calendar in there, and go check out some of the great content in there as well that Marie has, all her great poems and stuff as such. You can also email Marie right there at the bottom, marie@sliderbabe.com, or you could also email me every day is a Saturday, 365@yahoo.com. And once again, if you're out there struggling and you need some immediate help, remember there's 988 for you veterans. Press 1, and hopefully they can get you the help that you need. If not, is there any last things you want to say real quick, Marie?
Just thank you guys for being with us and joining with us. We've had some really great people reach out to us and say that you're listening, and we really appreciate it. Feel free to send us your stories, send us your thoughts. If you would like to come be a guest, yes, sliderbabe.com. You can sign up there. If you are not somebody who wants to put your face out there or your name out there, send us your story. Send us your story, and we will read it here on the show, and we'll talk about it. So just don't be scared. Heal with us, heal out loud. You know, we are going from PTSD to advocacy. You know, it's kind of what we do is share our stories so that we can be there for the next person. So come join us.
Outstanding. All right. You know how we say on the show, don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking it. We'll see you guys.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.